Chapter 13. I wanted nothing more than to run after Natsuki, but I wasn't going to leave Yuri all alone. On one hand, I could take her in and have her arrested and committed. Or I could try to help her myself. I really wasn't sure what to do, but I figured it might be best to help Yuri now, and then convince her to go in on her own, so as to avoid having to get her into trouble. I ran to the door and locked it, and then took all the sharp objects in the room and stuffed them in the file cabinet, and locked that too with the teacher's key. I ran back over to Yuri and looked her over. She was a mess, but I knew that her outward look was far better still than how she must have been on the inside. Yuri, Yuri, wake up. Yuri's eyes opened slowly as she looked at me. Her hand moved up to my face and brushed it as she laid back. "Is this all real?" she asked. "Unfortunately so," I groaned halfway to myself. "I just wish Natsuki was here to help me through this." I pulled up Yuri's bra so as to at least cover her body. Her panties too. I did my best not to touch anything. I picked her up and sat her in a chair. She was conscious, but distant. I turned around and pulled out my phone to dial Natsuki. The call went straight to voicemail. "Natsuki, please, I swear it wasn't what it looks like. Yuri just... I don't know, she went crazy, man. She came out with a fucking knife and then she tried to turn it on herself. I had to stop her. Look, I know she was naked, and that was a whole other thing. I can barely even start to explain it, honestly. This whole thing is so... I don't know. Please, call me. I can't do this alone. I need you." I finished the call and hung up. "I'm sorry." A voice came from behind me. I looked up to see Yuri still sitting, though clearly fully awake now. "Yuri," I said, walking back over to her. I held her hand and looked at her. "I lost control there. I didn't mean to. I should never hurt you." "It's okay, Yuri. I know you... I know you lost control, and I'm not so hurt as I am worried about you. It's not okay, but I'm quite tired." "I know, Yuri. We need to get you help. Please, Yuri, let me help you." I held onto Yuri's hand. She looked at me with half-opened eyes. For me? For Natsuki? I'm too weak. Be brave. For me. I took her other hand and then kissed her. Yuri's lips were soft, and though I felt wrong for doing that, it seemed like something that needed to be done. If Yuri could just see that I did in fact care for her, even if I had to fake it a little, maybe I could just get through to her. "Yuri, I want you to know this. You know, I've learned a lot of things in the last few days with Natsuki. I learned that there are heroes in all of us. It just takes the right person sometimes to awaken it. And I'm gonna ask this of you, and it's a big thing. But I want you to be Natsuki's hero. To be my hero. But more importantly, I want you to be your own hero." Yuri felt her lips where I'd kissed her before, asking, "Do you believe in me?" If Natsuki believed in you, then I do too. We spent some time before Yuri put her clothing on, and I walked with her. We left campus and I walked her to the hospital. It had snowed in the time since class started, and now the walk was a bit longer than usual. I knew I would miss class, but I needed to do this. Yuri checked in, and the doctors asked me a few questions before writing me a pass to take back with me to school. I walked back in total shock of all that had happened today. When I had made it back to school, it was already the final period of the day. I couldn't focus in class, even though we weren't doing anything. I just couldn't handle what felt like the entirety of another person's soul resting on top of mine. Then add another soul for Natsuki. I could hardly take any of it. The bell rang and I waited to see if Natsuki would come in so I could talk to her. Monica entered and looked at me before frowning. "What's the matter? You look rather crestfallen." I couldn't even explain it if I tried. I sighed. "Well, it's a good thing you're in the literature club in that case," said Monica, lifting a finger. "Reading helps increase vocabulary." "Yeah." After some time, Sayori came in, laughing with her boyfriend. When they saw me, she frowned, and Sayori walked over to me. Hey, I was wondering, do you know if Natsuki's alright? I saw her crying at lunch, and, well, I know you're the closest to her, really. I mean, she trusts you more than anyone. But, well, like I said, do you know if she's okay?" I felt my head spin at those words before I forced myself up. "Do you know where she is?" "Well, I think she said she was going home, but that was at lunch," replied Sayori. I have to go," I said. I ran out the door and onto the icy sidewalk. I ran for blocks, and my lungs became painful from the icy air. I turned a corner and slipped, falling onto the ice. I scrambled hard to get back up and ran to my front door. I barged into my house and found it was empty. I dumped my items and quickly ran back out. I tried to think of where she might be. Maybe her dad's house, but why would she go there? Still, it was better that I checked. A new downfall of snow started as I made my way to her dad's house. I reached the old decrepit fence and looked just over. Maybe I could just look through the windows for a bag or anything. "I thought I told you, boy, to stay away or I'd finish you off," said a voice from behind me. I turned to see Notskis Father holding a snow shovel. I just came to see if Natsuki was here," I said as I backed away from him. "Nope," he answered with a laugh. "You know, not even she's as dumb as you are to come back here." "Well, look, I'll be on my way," I said, walking back from him. "Oh, no you won't," he growled as he walked after me. He lifted the shovel and swung it hard at me, to which I jumped out of the way. The shovel landed hard and it split into the ground next to me. Natsuki's father struggled to lift it out of the soil that he landed it in. I took the chance to run away from him, at which point he managed to pull the shovel up. I ran as fast as I could with Natsuki's father giving chase. We had ran a few blocks before it seemed Natsuki's father gave up on chasing me, at which point he threw the shovel at me. It hit me behind the knee, which caused me to stumble. I crawled out of the snow and made sure not to stop, as I ran as far as I could before falling. I wasn't sure where I was set down. The snow was coming down even harder now, and I looked up to see a closed building. I looked up at the structure above the door. Library. I thought about the literature club, and I wondered what they were doing today. Maybe the three were sitting back with hot chocolate, and boy, it would have been nice to join them, huh? I knew how much Natsuki loved the literature club. And the library. I got up and moved across the snow-covered street. The front door was unsurprisingly closed, but there was a small window open next to the stairs leading to the main door. I hopped over the railing as I'd forgotten about my knee, which failed when I landed. I looked in the window and saw that it was pretty clean inside. so I went ahead and pushed myself through the window, barely being able to fit inside. When I'd made it through, I landed on what was a pile of old books before I got myself up. It was warmer in here than outside anyway. Hopefully, they didn't have any sort of alarm system. I walked through the library for a bit before I noticed a light coming from the back of the library. I walked towards it and noticed it was in fact coming from the children's area. I turned the corner and got a clear view of the area that was illuminated. The room was colorful and still neatly organized. I looked around and I saw in the middle of the room. It was Natsuki. "Natsuki," I called. She said nothing. "Natsuki, what are you doing here?" I asked. "My mother used to bring me here. Both of my parents, actually. When they loved me. Before they betrayed me." Natsuki tensed up from where she was, before turning around to see me. "Natsuki. Natsuki, I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm sorry. I never should have doubted you. I know what it's like to be turned on by the ones you love. I got your voicemail, but I just didn't know what to do." Tears were still prominent in her eyes, and I sat down beside her to comfort her. "It's just, I saw you, and with somebody whom I'd had a history with, someone I couldn't bear to look at anymore. Natsuki, you shouldn't blame yourself for those things. No. Yuri needs you. She blamed herself just as much as you blame yourself now. But I think the matter of fact is, you two are still friends. I think you can reunite. I'm certain of it. As for feeling that I'd betrayed you, I mean, given what you saw, I can really understand it. You have to understand she lost control." "What happened?" asked Natsuki. I explained all that had happened in the short amount of time, to which Natsuki cried some more. "I wish I could have been there for her. And for you. I wish I could help her. Yuri's always had mental problems. She once told me that I was strong for being able to hold it together given the circumstances I was in. But I guess I'm just better at hiding it." I hugged Natsuki and let her calm down before asking, "Should we go home now?" "Yeah,"